Hey guys, so we're gonna show another 5-0 with this Golem Desert deck. The reason why we were grinding it today is I was trying to get to 40 mox points for the showcase tomorrow, or it will be today when this gets posted. So the showcase today. As you can see, we just 5-0'd. We're really close. We only need two more, so I just need one more 4-1 or so. But I'm gonna go through the replays with you guys just so that we can you guys can see my 5-0, which was pretty good. If you haven't seen the Golem Desert deck, it plays a lot of like mono blue aggro, in the way that you're just trying to like counter the early plays and then get creatures out and just start swinging in the air with like Spellstutter Sprite and Spire Golem. It's not as fast. It's probably a little bit more mid range. Uh, because and we do run more lands, but desert actually makes our combats against a lot of decks like very interesting, and it makes it so that they want to play, like it makes them question attacking, so then we can build more of a board. We can play Spire Golem for free a lot. Like it allows us to like fully control the board, and it gives us a way to beat those like early aggressive decks. Um, with deserts, the we do usually take the damage from it beforehand. Unless you have a blocker, then just use this to finish off the creature. So, but like I said, it's a very interesting deck. We're gonna go through it real quick. Please like and subscribe if you have not yet. And I'll see you guys in match one. And I know you guys like live recordings, and normally I try to do live recordings. It's just the last couple that I haven't because I didn't like when the on the last video I didn't like how the recording was going. And then this one, it's like I said, I was grinding points and I got a 5-0. I was planning on just grinding a bunch of 4-1s. We are playing against a mono blue deck. I feel like getting out early creatures against this deck is really important. So we snapped his creature and Spellstutter Sprite to get rid of it, and then on our turn 3 with him being tapped out, we put a Spire Golem out there so that we can not have to worry about that. Like I said, we're just trying to get creatures out. He ends up going for the Spellstutter Sprite, which we have our own sprite for. And he's gonna have a hard time like getting through this, even if he builds like Spire Golems, whatever. But now long term, because of the deserts and the draw cards, we have more draw cards and more counters than he does, and our creatures are bigger. I feel like I like our chances long term. A lot of like just land go in this matchup. Like I said, is we're kind of waiting for him to make a move, or us to get a Spire Golem. We decided to go for the Spellstutter Sprite, um, and then he got Deprive. We used our own Deprive on his Deprive. Like I said, we're just trying to make sure we have a bigger board than he does, and he can't aggro us. Like I said, if I believe if this game goes long against this style of deck, we'll win every time because we just have bigger threats overall. They have to try to tempo us out. And then he goes to Ponder. We have a huge board. We're going to start swinging for 2 turn. And I guess he didn't like what he was pondered. So he scooped. And we won the first game. Okay, game 2 of match 1. This hand probably wasn't the best opening hand, but I felt like even if he's aggressive and has like an early ninja, we can deal with it with all of these augurs. We end up just swinging for 1. Like I said, applying pressure is super smart, and he mulliganed a bunch, so he's only have 5 cards left in hand. So we're beating him down one at a time. We're starting to draw cards. Fire Golem he goes after. We try to dispel that. He ends up having another counterspell. Dispel probably wasn't the right choice there because he could have had Spellstutter Sprite and we might have been in trouble then. It would have been better overall if we would have just used a counter, or we didn't even have a counter. That's the reason why we didn't use it. Okay, I'm just dumb. So this time we put an Augur of Bolas out there. We put out Desert so he can't really attack. Relic's actually relatively annoying for this deck to deal with, but they have to apply pressure with it. So if they just play Relic, we can usually play around Relic. But if they play Relic while applying pressure, then we're in trouble. He went for a hardcast ninja. We just excluded that. We're swinging for 4 a turn, and he has 1 card left in hand. And we have all these counter spells. It's pretty much guaranteed we're gonna win at this point. I would have to hugely mess up at this point for us to lose. All right, and then we won. Welcome to match 2, game 1. We're on the plays, so I thought this hand's okay. Again, we're playing against a blue deck. I think it's I'm thinking it's a mono blue deck. So I end up going with Augur of Bolas. Then I realized we're gonna realize in like a turn or so it ends up I think being blue black. But I'm still feeling good about our situation. Brainstorm, we go for the spell stutter in response. Again, we're on the thought process that if we just have more creatures on the field, we're going to likely win. That could be wrong. I would also like to play some more matches against blue-red Delver, just because I think it would be a very interesting matchup to do. We're just putting creatures on the field. We could have left a Spellstutter Sprite up, but I wasn't really worried about that. I think applying pressure right now is our best choice. It might have been worth it to swing with both of these guys and to get the extra damage in, and I think that was a mistake. End of his turn, we put a Spellstutter out there. We were trying to get more pressure out there. We finally decided to attack with both the Augurs. Just trying to apply pressure where we can. We should have Spellstutter Sprite that, but we decided not to. Swing for 3. Right? Should have swung for 1 more. That's I've missed out on a couple damage here. That's been a mistake so far. He plays another Delver. Got some concerns now. Could lose this. Drawing that Spire Golem though makes me feel a lot better. We end up putting Deprive back on top because we're just gonna ride what we have to victory. We use Counterspell on this, or Deprive on that. Okay, so he did one Delver trigger. He didn't get what he wanted. He did another. He drew 2 cards in response before the second Delver trigger with Tragic Lesson, and that didn't go through. So then he just scooped onto the game 2. Okay, we decided to keep. We got plenty of spells, plenty of lands. We originally were just gonna play Mystic Sanctuary, but us drawing the second island, I wanted to threaten I wanted to threaten Force Spike. Turn 2, again, we just get a creature out. We're also looking for a bounce spell, so that's why we were a little bit more aggressive with Exclude. I'm kind of worried that we're gonna die to this Delver before we find one. We swing for 1. I think we play a desert in case we draw a second desert for the Delver. We decide to flash in the Sprite at the end of his turn. We play our land. We're not putting out Mystic Sanctuary just yet. Swing for 1. Just use a regular counterspell on that. He ends up having Dispel. We were trying to keep it alive so we could block with the Sprite, deal 1 damage, and then deal the second damage with the Desert. But that he saw right through it. We go Accumulated Knowledge at the end of turn, draw another land. There's nothing really we want to put on top though because we're trying to get a bounce spell like I was saying. So we just play our normal island. We're basically going to exclude any creature that he tries to play just for the fact of trying to draw an additional land. He puts us down to 5, which is scary. We're hoping either a desert or a bounce land right here. We get neither. I decided to put a relic out there. And I think I put the land out, but I don't put anything on top. Because, like I said, our plan is still to exclude. We wanted to keep Counterspell in case he had like an answer. Another thing that we can do is crack the relic to draw additional card. Goes down to 2. We crack it. We end up getting a Repulse. We use the Repulse main turn, having Counterspell up and hoping that he doesn't have like 2 Dispels. We end up using the Exclude on the Delver Secrets. He ends up having another one, but we draw into 2 Spire Golems, and now I'm feeling really good about our chances. He flips his Delver, but we got 2 Counterspells up, so I'm not super worried. I think I keep everything back because I'm worried about him having a kill spell. For that. Yeah, I think that might be what happened. No, I drew a Stormbound Geist, so I ended up playing the Stormbound Geist and keeping up Counterspell. And I think I swing with 1 Spire Golem. trying to finish the game before he could, um, you know, before he can overcome him being, he's kind of light on magic, so he hasn't been able to use a lot of his spells. We play our land, keep everything back with a plan of full blocking the Gurmag, with also keeping up 3 counter spells because we have 2 Deprives and 1 Counterspell up. Which sounds great, We might just use Exclude if we need to, if he tries to cast like an additional creature to draw more cards. Like I said, I decided to keep everything back. He went for a full swing. No, he didn't go for a full swing. Okay. He does eventually go for a full swing. We just play our land again. Okay, now he goes for the full swing. Yep, and then we counter. No, we deprive first. Then we counter. And even if he has another one, we had it up. He kills one of the Spire Golems. We put Deprive back on top and we start swinging. We cast our other Spire Golem and start swinging with the other one. For some reason, the replay is going slow. We exclude that. We deprive that. Play Relic. Start attacking his graveyard, so Gurmag Anglers are harder to cast. Gurmag Anglers. He has Snuff Out, which is fine. It puts him down to 4 life. We're okay with that. We keep Deprive just in case he had something else, which he did. And then he conceded. Alright, on to match 3. Alright, welcome to match 3. Opening hand, a little lackluster, but the tragic lesson makes me feel a lot better about keeping it. Force Spike or Counterspell up, or Spellstutter Sprite. I think we use the Spellstutter Sprite right here. That 2/2 is annoying, but us getting a Mystic Sanctuary means that we can start using Tragic Lesson crazily. We take... I think we just discard a Force Spike. Go down to 10. Drawn a lot of lands with these Tragic Lessons. Play another desert, keep both deserts up. Augur of Bolas, get Deprive. I feel like we might have stabilized here. I think we counter that, make it so. He taps out, which is weird, and ends up not doing anything. So I'm feeling like maybe we pull this out. Right now, I'm not super confident, to be honest. We only have 4 life, but I feel like we might be able to grind it out. Drew another land, feels terrible. Put Tragic Lesson on top. Plays the Nettle Sentinel, a River Boa. And another River Boa. Now this just feels disgusting. We open up our hand, we Tragic Lesson. Discard a card, play a Spire Golem. Realize that these have Island Walk and we lost. Alright, now let's try this again. Okay, opening hand, Force Spike is great, Echoing Truth is great, Exclude on turn 3 is good. Like, we're feeling pretty good about this hand. We draw another Force Spike, we hope that it casts a 2 cost. Oh look, it is. We're just killing it right now. The best we have, you know. Whatever creature he casts, we're just gonna exclude. And he had a very good hand. It seems like he had a good opening hand with a couple Burning Tree emissaries. We're waiting until Mystic Sanctuary can bring back a card. He ends up not having another creature, which makes it feels really good. We take Tragic Lesson. We play Mystic Sanctuary because we can bounce Tragic Lesson now. Bounce it with Tragic Lesson, so we have that option. And we just want more mana for later on. Goes to equip the Quarian Ranger. We draw 2. We bounce the Mystic Sanctuary so we can start using it with Tragic Lesson. We got the 3rd island to go with it. At the end of turn, we repulse the Nest Invader. We Augur of Bolas first before playing the land and putting Tragic Lesson on top. I didn't really want to draw it yet. I wanted to get other cards instead. We counterspell that. We keep up Echoing Truth / Snap. I think we bounced the Viridian Longbows. Yeah, we did. Tragic Lesson, return. Tragic Lesson back on top, swing for 2. He goes for a Savage Swipe, tapped out though, so that makes me feel secure that we can use Repulse. Take 1. Swing. Don't cast anything, play land. He goes to attach that. We bounce in response. Exclude feels great. We just block with both. He goes to pump it. We counter that. We bounce our own dude. Untap some lands. Deal 1 damage with the desert at the end of combat. We then exclude. And then that's game. So game 3, we're on the draw. We have a Force Spike hand, so we're kind of keeping it. Force Spike's been really good in this matchup. We end up just using it. We hope for a second land. We end up getting it. If not, we were going to go Mystic Sanctuary, keep Force Spike up. We're using our Force Spikes now while they're useful before, you know, he draws too many lands. We end up going Mystic Sanctuary past turn. He ends up not having anything to cast. We play an Augur of Bolas. We get ourselves a Tragic Lesson. And we're going to just get value from this point on. We end up counterspelling that. Putting it on top of the deck. We should put it on top of the deck first. See, I messed up on there. That one we should have gone Mystic Sanctuary, put Counterspell on top, and then bounce one of the Mystic Sanctuary. We repulse that Counterspell. Or snap. Now we have Counterspell for it on the way down. And then we're just using a Tragic Lesson to stay ahead of him. It doesn't really seem like he has any more creatures, so we're just, like I said, using Tragic Lessons to keep counter spells in so we can counter all the creatures and then just beat him down with Augur of Bolas. Like I said, keep putting counter spells on top. Keep swinging. Beatdowns are going great for us. We counter. He then shows us that his hand was full of pumps by pumping all our stuff. And he concedes. Or he doesn't concede, he makes us kill him, but he kind of proved his point the turn before. Alright, so this one we play against Tron. He could have had a turn 3 Tron, but he didn't set it up. I just wanted to have Exclude up. That's fine. We go for Accumulated Knowledge. We start using the Mystic Sanctuaries to put the Accumulated Knowledge on top of the graveyard each time. And we discard Excludes because they don't hit everything. So we're kind of just doing like real card selection right now with these Mystic Sanctuaries and Accumulated Knowledge. Trying to make sure to hit all our land drops. Trying to fill our hands full of counter spells. We discarded Desert that time because deserts aren't like super good in this matchup, and we already have a land. Then we end up drawing the third Mystic Sanctuary and the, you know, he goes Prohibit for that. That's fine. We don't have to discard because of that. Stonehound Dignitary is not that big a deal for this matchup, so I'm not super worried about it. We end up playing land, casting Spire Golem for free. We exclude the Mole Drifter. The Rovahor, we do have the Counterspell or the Exclude for. I'm feeling okay. These Force Spikes feel really bad. He's kind of running low on cards though, so maybe we can win. We got the fourth Accumulated Knowledge, which seems ridiculous. We should have Force Spike that since it's not going to get any better. We let Unwind go through. We end up top decking a Tragic Lesson. Prohibit though, we counter. Swinging for 5 in the air. I'm trying to keep him off of colored mana. He goes for a Pulse. We end up snapping back our Spellstutter. Believe we just put regular Counterspell on top. Could be wrong. Actually, he just scooped. We mulligan to 6 on game 2. We end up keeping a hand with Ninja. We bring in Ninjas out of the sideboard. He's got a pretty good starter though. Like he can set up Tron whenever he wants. He's just kind of filling his hands. We just try to get a Ninja out while we can. Hopefully you draw more blue. He ends up killing the Ninja, which doesn't feel great to be honest. Feel like we're behind at this point. We do go for Spellstutter against the Expedition map. And then we bounce our guy to untap 2 blue to use Deprive to get rid of this Ulamog Crusher. He ends up using Pulse Marasa to bring it back into his hand. Still looking for more blue mana. Finally find it. I wish I've gone Augur of Bolas there. He just is filling up his hand with counter spells. We end up taking Counterspell over Tragic Lesson just for the fact that I'm worried about dying to that Ulamog Crusher. Putting regular Counterspell on top. We go to exclude this. Spellstutter the spell. We were 1 mana off from being able to counterspell that as well. We snap that. Counterspell is Pyroblast. But he's been, if you remember, he's been filling his hand the entire time with spells. So feeling kind of terrible. Maybe we should have taken the Spire Golems out in this matchup. Post sideboard and just gone more with like the spells and stuff like that. And make it so if he brings in anything like Ancient Grudge. We're kind of just forcing him, like we might draw a bounce spell, so we're kind of just forcing him to kill us. He's down to like no cards in hand. We did not get a bounce spell. We swing for 1. He's gonna swing back. We're gonna keep it so we can keep Mystic Sanctuary. And we're, again, like I said, we're still hoping for a bounce spell. If we got like a snap or something right there, we could have recovered because he had no cards in hand. But yeah, so that's the deck. I'll see you guys. I mean, that's that game. I'll see you guys in game 3. Okay, so we got a bunch of lands. We got accumulated knowledge to try to draw some more cards. We do have a Spellstutter Sprite in case we want to counter like an early spell. He ends up going for Expedition Map. We do counter that. Start swinging for 1. Use accumulated knowledge. Draw land. Feel terrible. We use Augur to try to like get more cards in hand. We fail. He goes another Expedition Map. We go another Augur. Dispel that. He puts Counterspell on top. I mean, Counterspell in our hand. We counter that. Okay, and then but we just draw lands, which kind of sucks. We were hoping for a draw spell so we could put that Counterspell on top and then draw it with Yep, and then he had Pulse into that. That felt great. So we're feeling like we're falling behind at this point. So we're just kind of like, if you look at this, he's kind of running low on time. So that's our secondary win condition if we can't figure out how to win this. Like if he ends up getting too much card advantage, which he very well probably will. We're drawing a lot of... I would like to draw a draw spell so we can get some card advantage. Like he's getting card advantage off of Mystical Teachings. But it didn't happen. But again, like I said, we're making him use a lot of time. He's under 5 minutes now. He has no win condition on the field. He's just trying to like fill up his hand still. We're countering like the ephemerate and that kind of plays. We don't want to put Counterspell on top because, like I said, we want to draw a spell. We want like a Tragic Lesson or Accumulated Knowledge or something like that so we can like catch up in this card advantage game. And now he's got Ghostly Flicker going into Ephemerate, which makes me feel like we're going to lose the card advantage games. So we're just focusing on making him time out. We finally get a Tragic Lesson, but I feel like it's too late because he's gonna just get spells with Mystical Teachings. He uses Mystical Teachings to get another spell. He uses Impulse. We take advantage of that and put Tragic Lesson. We were hoping for some counter spells, but we did not find any. We're mucking up the field, making it harder for him to win. He's down to 3 minutes. Still hasn't got a win condition on the field. Muldrifter could be a win condition. And realistically, he should right now put counters on it. Spellstutter Sprite, it might be able to counter like a Pyroblast or something. We let the Ephemerate go. Because like I said, we normally wouldn't let it go, but we're just trying to have him waste time. So him ephemerating the Muldrifter and that kind of stuff is not getting damaged through. He's looking for, I think, an Ulamog Crusher to be able to close out the game quickly, but if he would have just doubled up on the Cave of Temptation and had a bunch of counter spells, he probably could have done it. I mean, a minute and a half to basically kill, a minute or so to basically kill us with a 6/6 flyer. Like, that's plenty enough time, but he wastes a lot of time doing impulse and ephemerate on his mole drifter. Just wasting that time. And then he finally, I think he gets an Ulamog Crusher after this. He's down to 35 seconds. Okay, so he ends up playing Ulamog Crusher. He swings a few times. But we were able to block enough to be able to survive for him to time out. My computer's waking out right here, but we end up winning by him timing out. And then welcome to match 5. Got a counterspell, got lands. Not the best hand, but not the worst. This could either be elves or Stompy. Most likely it's Stompy, though I have not many elves lists or running sentinels. But we keep up counterspell. We end up countering that creature. Untap. We keep up Repulse and we keep up Spellstutter Sprite. End of turn, we repulse that guy. End up drawing another island, which is good. This time it gets through. We counter that. Play Augur of Bolas before playing Mystic Sanctuary. We end up putting a counter spell back on top. He swings for 1. We try to counter the Spellstutter Sprite. He Savage Swipes the Spellstutter Sprite. And then he puts Hunger of the Howlpack onto the flyer. We play our own flyer, we draw some cards, we keep up counterspell. We take 4, it happens. Play land, we're hoping to get a bounce spell. We have 2 more turns of basically not blocking before we have to worry about it. We end up getting a Tragic Lesson. We use Tragic Lesson to put Repulse back on top. And then I end up making the decision to, well, I counter that. But I'm hoping that he doesn't have a pump spell. Because we just let the 4 damage through. Because I don't want to lose our golem. We do have, he does end up using Exclude. So we put Counterspell on top. We use Augur of Bolas to get the Counterspell before trying to use Repulse. Because I wanted to make sure that if he had Vines of Aspid or anything, we had a response to it. Yep, that happens. But we have blockers, and we're gaining a lot of card advantage with Tragic Lesson. Put Counterspell on top. Use Accumulating Knowledge to put Counterspell in our hand. We draw 2 Counterspells. Now we're some golden. And we pretty much ride this to victory. Start swinging for 2 a turn. Have multiple Counterspells in hand. Gonna get a lot of value off those Accumulating Knowledge. Recovering at 1 life. Okay, 1 second. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. We decide to repulse that guy so we can start swinging for 4 a turn. We have plenty of counter spells. He goes for a Burning Tree Emissary. We exclude that. We deprive that. Counterspell that. We Spellstutter Sprite that. We snap his own creature that time. Get rid of the Rancor. Then we Force Spike that. And then he concedes. Alright, welcome to the final game. Kind of a slow opening hand, but Repulse is pretty good. We end up drawing a Force Spike, which is pretty cool. End up using Force Spike on that. On our turn, we use Snap to return the Ranger, untap our lands. We drew really well this game. We end up using Spellstutter Sprite against that. He ends up getting out that 1 cost, which isn't a big deal because we have deserts. We have Sprite to block. He passes his turn. We just use Repulse on that, so we can start using Sprites on it as well. We also have Deprive. We're looking for a bounce spell. We found one. Feeling really good. We're ahead of him on the race. We're ahead of him in hand. Echoing Decay on both of the, Echoing Truth on both of those is going to be really good. Waiting till the end of his turn to do it. End up getting a second desert out there, swinging for 3. So again, we're again ahead in the race. Swinging for 2. We block. We use desert to finish it off. We exclude this guy. He's got the 2 guys in hand. Where we're swinging for 3 a turn. He's only got a few turns left. We could have Spellstutter Sprite Snap, but I think I'm keeping that for other stuff. I'm feeling pretty confident. I also want to use this in response to him trying to pump or something, one of his creatures. Desert keeps people at bay pretty easily, and then we can keep the Augur of Bolas back. So it just gives us a lot of options. Alright, and then it's he finally realized that he lost. Yes, that's the deck. The deck is super powerful. Please like and subscribe if you have not yet. I'll see you guys in the next video I make.